London is a city that many visit, but few truly understand. In this video, we're going to explore it at a relaxed pace, so you can discover what most people overlook. Welcome to our video, Discover London. It's often said that London is a city that doesn't shout, but it has so much to tell. And it's true. Unlike other capitals that hit you with noise from the very first second, London wins you over from the very first moment, little by little, with its elegance, its history on every corner. And that strange yet somehow perfect mix of tradition and radical modernity. In this video, we're going to discover London in a real and, above all, practical way. We're not just going to stay on the surface. We'll see those iconic places everyone has on their list, but also the neighborhoods that are truly worth walking through to understand what this city is really about today. We'll talk about what to eat because, yes, London actually has great food if you know where to go, how to get around its legendary transport network without losing your mind, and those practical tips that will save you time and more than one headache with currency exchange or schedules. It doesn't matter if it's your first time landing at Heathrow or if you already know the West End by heart. This guide is designed to help you get your bearings, to help you understand the contrasts of the city, and above all, to let you enjoy it at your own pace, without that feeling of rushing everywhere. London is fascinating, it's diverse, and it has way more depth than it seems at first glance. So if you want to get around the British capital with confidence and make the most of every minute of your trip, stick with me until the end. Get ready, grab your umbrella just in case, and come with me. Let's get started. Before you head out into the streets with your map in hand, there's something fundamental you need to know. London isn't like almost any other European capital you've visited before. If you're coming from cities like Madrid, Paris, or Rome, where the historic center is more or less compact, and you can walk from one monument to another, here you're going to have to completely change your mindset. London is a sprawling, diverse city and much less compact than people imagine when they see the postcards. In fact, one of the most common mistakes is thinking that the center is a specific spot. In London, there isn't a single heart where everything happens. The city is experienced by zones, almost as if they were small villages that have gradually joined together over the centuries to form this giant. What makes London fascinating is precisely the strong identity of each neighborhood. You can be in the cities surrounded by glass skyscrapers and hurried executives, and just 10 minutes away on foot, you might find yourself on a cobblestone street with a 12th century church or a pub that seems frozen in time. Here, history isn't kept in a museum. It's living side by side with everyday life, with the traffic and with the most absolute modernity. The pace of the city can change drastically from one street to the next. And that's something you have to learn to enjoy. Another key point is its multiculturalism. London is one of the most international cities in the world, and you can feel it in the air. You'll hear hundreds of different accents. You'll see people from every corner of the planet, and you'll notice that mix of cultures on every corner. Understanding this from the start is vital so you don't get frustrated. London isn't just about afternoon tea and the Royal Guard. It's a hotbed of ideas, contrast, and constant energy. A lot of people get overwhelmed trying to plan the perfect route, but my advice is to accept that London can't be explored in a straight line. You really enjoy it when you stop trying to connect the dots on a map and start to understand where you're actually moving around. Don't try to take it all in like it's a shopping list. Try to understand the character of the area you're in. If you assume you'll be using public transport a lot, that you'll be discovering new things, corners you didn't expect, and that the city will demand a bit of patience from you, you'll enjoy it so much more. London opens up to you when you know where to start, and above all, when you allow yourself the luxury of going with its own flow. Now that we've made it clear that London isn't a compact city, let's start naming its different areas. Like I said, London is like a puzzle made up of neighborhoods, and each one has its own vibe. Understanding what each area has to offer is key, so you don't waste time wandering around, and so you can make the right choices. Where do you want to spend your mornings and your afternoons? Any trip to London usually starts here, and it makes perfect sense. Westminster is the epicenter of British power, and it's where you'll find those icons you've seen 1,000 times in the news and in movies. This is where you really feel the weight of history. Walking through this area is like flipping through a textbook. You got Big Ben here, which, by the way, is actually the name of the bell, even though that's what everyone calls the whole thing. The Tower, the Palace of Westminster with its stunning Gothic architecture, and Westminster Abbey, which is where kings have been crowned for centuries. My advice here is don't just take a photo and leave. Cross Westminster Bridge, walk along the riverbank, and soak in the grandeur of the buildings. It's a very institutional, very stately area, and it's the perfect place for a first encounter with the city. That said, be prepared for the crowds. It's probably the most touristy spot in London, so if you can go early, you'll be glad you did. If Westminster is the serious side of London, Covent Garden and Soho are the London that never sleeps. These areas are right next to each other and are the heart of entertainment. Covent Garden is pure charm. Its old fruit and vegetable market is now an area full of shops, cafes, and above all, street performers of an incredible level. Sitting down for a drink while you listen to a soprano or watch an acrobatic show is an amazing plan. And right next door is Soho. This neighborhood has an electric energy. It's the neighborhood of theaters, neon lights, record stores, and some of the best restaurants in the city. It used to be a bit more rougher on the edges, and although it's very gentrified now, it still keeps that bohemian and vibrant vibe. It's the perfect place to wander aimlessly, pop into an old bookstore, or get lost on Carnaby Street. If you want to feel the real pulse of modern cosmopolitan London, you have to spend time here. We're making a complete change of scene and head north to Camden Town. If you're into alternative culture, rock music, and markets where you can find everything from vintage clothing to handmade crafts, this is your place, no question. Camden's an explosion for the senses. The moment you step out of the subway station, you're hit by the smell of street food from all over the world and the look of the storefronts with their giant 3D figures. Camden Market is huge. You can lose yourself for hours exploring the old horse stables that are now shops selling futuristic clothing or antiques. It's a neighborhood with a very rebellious identity, strongly influenced by figures like Amy Winehouse. Even though it gets packed with tourists on weekends, it still has an authentic vibe that shows you a totally different side of London compared to the palaces and churches. It's loud, it's chaotic, but it's a blast. To bring your heart rate down a bit after Camden, there's nothing better than Notting Hill, out west. This neighborhood is a photographer's dream. It's famous for its pastel-colored houses, its quiet residential streets, and of course for the Portobello Road Market. Notting Hill has a much more relaxed pace. It's perfect for a Saturday morning, even though that's when it's most crowded, whether you're browsing the antique stalls or just strolling down the side streets, like Lancaster Road, where the houses look like they've been painted with a palette of vibrant colors. Here, the plan is to stroll without rushing, look for a mews, which are those old stable alleys converted into gorgeous luxury homes, and finish off with a coffee at a stylish cafe. It's the most chic and cozy side of London, the kind that makes you imagine living there someday. And last, but by no means least, we have the South Bank, the southern bank of the River Thames. For me, this is one of the best urban walks in the world. Start at the London Eye and walk east, toward Tower Bridge. Along this route, you'll get the best views of London's skyline. You'll pass by the South Bank Centre, the National Theatre, and lively areas with benches where you can sit and enjoy the river. What I like most about the South Bank is that it's a very democratic area. There are museums like the Tate Modern, food markets like Borough Market, which is a must-stop for any foodie, and replicas of historic theaters like Shakespeare's Globe. It's a long walk, but it doesn't feel like it, because every few steps there's something new to see. If you want a spectacular photo of Tower Bridge, this is the side of the river you need to walk on. As you can see, London is not a monochromatic city. It's a gradient that goes from the solemnity of Westminster to the rebelliousness of Camden, passing through the color of Notting Hill and the bustle of Soho. My logistical recommendation is not to try to combine neighborhoods that are far apart on the same day. Dedicate a morning to Westminster and the South Bank, an afternoon to Soho and Covent Garden, and save Camden or Notting Hill for different days. That way, you won't just see the sights, but you'll really feel the personality of each neighborhood. At the end of the day, London isn't remembered for its monuments, but for how you felt walking through each of these very different areas. If there's one thing about London, it's that even if you've never been, you already know it. Its landmarks have appeared in so many movies and books that when you see them in person, you feel a strange mix of surprise and familiarity. But be careful, these places aren't just picture postcards. Each one has an incredible story behind it, and above all, a specific way to visit so that the experience is truly worth it. Let's start with the heavyweight, Big Ben and the Palace of Westminster. No matter how many photos you've seen, the first time you step out of Westminster Underground station and look up, it's breathtaking. That golden Gothic architecture reflected in the Thames is simply spectacular. But remember what I told you earlier? Big Ben is technically the bell. The tower is called Elizabeth Tower. Beyond the name, what's really important here is the feeling of being at the center of British political power. Decisions have been made here that have changed the course of the world for centuries. My advice is don't just stay at the entrance. Cross the bridge to the south side, the South Bank, to get the full panoramic view. It's the perfect place to grasp the monumental scale of London. And of course, to take that iconic photo everyone wants to bring home. Just a few steps from there is Westminster Abbey. If Parliament is political power, the Abbey is spiritual and historical power. This is where almost every English king has been crowned since the year 1066. Even if you decide not to go in, since the entrance fee is a bit pricey and there are usually lines, its exterior alone already conveys an imposing sense of solemnity. It's architecture that makes you feel small. You go inside, get ready to walk, literally on top of history, because everyone from kings and queens to figures like Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin are buried there. It's a place that makes you lower your voice and realize that London has layers and layers of history beneath your feet. Let's switch gears and head over to Buckingham Palace. Let's be realistic. You don't come here to see an incredibly artistic building, but to see what it represents. It's the official residence of the monarch, and the ultimate symbol of the British monarchy. A lot of people get obsessed with the changing of the guard. If you want to see it, make sure to check the schedule and get there well in advance, because it gets absolutely packed and sometimes you can't see much. But honestly, the palace and its surroundings, like Street, James's Park, are much better enjoyed on a quiet stroll on any ordinary day. Seeing the flags flying, the guards in their red uniforms, and that royal atmosphere, it's an essential part of the London experience, with or without the parade. Right across from Westminster, on the other side of the river, stands the London Eye. At first, it was built as a temporary structure to celebrate the millennium, but it became so famous that now no one can imagine the city's skyline without that giant Ferris wheel. Is it worth going up? It depends. If you like heights and want to get an overall view of how the city is organized around the Thames, it's great. From above, you can clearly see how the river winds through the city and spot the skyscrapers of the city in the distance. It's not a must-do for everyone, but to get your bearings mentally on your first or second day, it's an experience that really helps you grasp the scale of what's around you. If we follow the course of the river eastward, we reach one of my favorite spots, Tower Bridge. People often confuse it with London Bridge, which is much simpler. But Tower Bridge is the one with the two Gothic towers and the blue walkways. Walking across it is one of the best free things you can do in London. You get amazing views of the river and the Tower of London, which is right next to it. The Tower of London is possibly the most fascinating building in the city. It has been a fortress, a royal palace, a luxury prison, and even a zoo. Today, it houses the crown jewels, but what impresses most is its physical presence, a medieval castle surrounded by modern glass skyscrapers. That contrast is the perfect definition of what London is. To change the vibe, we have to talk about Piccadilly Circus. It's like London's Times Square. Giant screens, neon lights, thousands of people crossing back and forth, and that constant noise from the iconic red buses. It's not a place to spend the whole afternoon. It's a place you pass through, but it's a necessary stop. You have to spend a few minutes there to feel the controlled chaos of the modern city. From here, you can walk to Soho, the shops on Regent Street, or the nightlife of Leicester Square. This is the spot where London tells you, hey, wake up, we never stop here. And to wrap up this tour of the icons, we have to head for some greenery. Hyde Park isn't just a park, it's a huge lung where the city finally relaxes. After the intensity of Piccadilly or the lines at Westminster, stepping into Hyde Park is like taking off a pair of shoes that are too tight. It's gigantic. You've got the Serpentine Lake, the Diana Princess of Wales Memorial, and corners where you can be practically alone. Walking around here, watching people on bikes, or just sitting in a rented chair. Watching the ducks is the best way to balance out your trip. You really enjoy London when you alternate the must-see monuments with these spaces where you can simply be. The secret to these iconic places is not to try to see them all in one day. As if it were an obstacle course. You favor London more when you combine a historical visit in the morning with a walk in a park in the afternoon. It's not about collecting photos, but about understanding why. These places have defined the character of one of the most important cities in the world. Enjoy the scale, the contrast, and above all, don't rush. There's an old myth that says you eat badly in London. I'm sure you've heard it before, that the food is boring, that everything is fried. Well, forget about that right now. London is nowadays one of the most vibrant and exciting cities in the world for food. What happens here is that the food is a true reflection of the city itself. It's a perfect mix of the traditional, the modern, and above all, the multicultural. On the same street, you can go from a centuries-old pub to a Thai food stall that will blow your mind. If you want to start the day like a true Londoner, you have to take on the full English breakfast. Fair warning, it's a heavy meal. Forget about just coffee and a light piece of toast. Here, we go all in. A proper English breakfast comes with eggs, sausages, bacon, grilled tomato, mushrooms, and toast. And the element that surprises travelers the most, baked beans and tomato sauce. It's not the kind of breakfast you should have every day if you want your heart to keep working. But it's an experience you have to try. It's the perfect fuel for a day when you're going to walk 15 kilometers under London's grey sky. The best place to find it is in classic neighborhood cafes, the ones locals call greasy spoons. They're not fancy places, but they have that authentic British vibe, workers and neighbors having breakfast before starting their day. At its core, it's a way to understand the country's culture. A strong start for a day that could be intense. But if you ask me what London's real strong point is these days, I'll tell you without hesitation. Street food. Street food markets are, for me, the best way to eat in this city. It's diverse, it's quick, it's cheaper than a sit-down restaurant, and the quality is usually impressive. Places like Borough Market are a must-stop. It's a festival for the senses. The smell of cheese, freshly baked bread, fresh oysters. But there are also more modern markets, like Mercado Mayfair inside an old church or the stalls at Camden. The best thing about these places is that you don't have to pick just one thing. You can order some Japanese gyozas, an Indian curry, or a gourmet burger and eat it all at a shared table with people from all over the world. It's the ideal way to eat without losing too much sightseeing time, but still enjoying every bite. We can't talk about London without mentioning fish and chips. It's the national dish par excellence. Whitefish. Usually cod or haddock, battered and fried, served with a mountain of French fries. Sometimes they serve it to you with mushy peas, a green pea mash that, although it doesn't look very appealing, goes perfectly with it. The secret to fish and chips is not to look for a sophisticated experience. It's not meant to be gourmet cuisine. It's popular food, simple and comforting. Ideally, you should order it from a trusted place served to you in hot butcher paper. And if the weather allows, eat it on a park bench or by the river. It's a dish that's part of British identity, and even though it's simple, when it's done right, with a crispy batter and juicy fish, it's truly a delight. But what really defines the palate of London is its multiculturalism. Since this city is a magnet for people from all over the world, the range of international cuisine is simply unbeatable. Are you in the mood for an authentic curry? Head to Brick Lane, the heart of the Bangladeshi community. Want the best Peking duck? Chinatown is waiting for you right next to Soho. But it goes way beyond that. Ethiopian, Lebanese, Peruvian, Korean cuisine. Everything coexists with total normalcy. What might be considered exotic food elsewhere is just a regular Tuesday lunch at any office in London. If you love exploring new flavors, London is your paradise. My advice is to dare to try things you don't know. Many times, the best food memory from your trip will be that dish from a faraway country you discovered in a small spot on a side street. To eat well in London, you don't need to spend a fortune or look for restaurants with a 3-month waiting list. The trick is knowing how to choose what's simple and authentic. Mix classic pubs with street food markets, dare to try international cuisine, and don't be afraid of street stalls. Eating in London is a way to travel the world without ever leaving the city. So set your prejudices aside, come hungry, and get ready to enjoy, because I promise you, the British capital will surprise you. One bite at a time. Getting around London can be a bit intimidating at first. It's a huge city, with a transport map full of colors and an energy that never stops. But I promise you one thing. As soon as you understand the 4 basic rules of how everything works, the city becomes small and accessible. The key here isn't to always try to go as fast as possible, but to choose the right mode of transport for each moment. Because in London, the journey is just as important as the destination. Let's start with the classic, the Underground, or as it's affectionately called here, the Tube. It's the oldest subway in the world and truly the backbone of London. If you need to cross the city from end to end, the Tube is without a doubt your best ally. It reaches almost everywhere and generally is very punctual. Now, don't stress about trying to memorize the map. These days, with Google Maps or City Mapper, you've got it covered. What you do need to know is that the Tube is perfect for long journeys, but there are some caveats. During rush hour, the famous morning and late afternoon rush, the carriages can get so packed that you'll feel like you're part of a can of sardines. If you can avoid it at those times, your mental health will thank you. A golden tick. Don't just head down to the Tube out of habit. Sometimes by the time you go down the stairs, walk through endless corridors, wait for the train, and come back up, you end up taking longer than if you had just walked 20 minutes above ground, enjoying the sights. Before you head underground, check if your destination is within reasonable walking distance. If the Tube is all about efficiency, the red double-decker buses are all about charm and comfort. They're not just an icon for photos, they're an incredibly practical way to get around, especially for medium-length trips, or if your legs are already begging for a break. My personal recommendation, always go up to the top deck, and if you can, grab a seat in the front row by the window. You get a panoramic view of the city for the price of a single ticket. It's almost like a sightseeing tour, but way cheaper. Plus, you skip the depths of the Tube, the transfers, and those endless stairs. They might not be the fastest if there's a lot of traffic, but if you're not in a huge rush, they're the most pleasant way to get around while still sightseeing in London. But let's be honest, you really discover London on foot. A lot of the places you'll love most are designed to be explored by walking. It's when you're walking that you stumble upon that charming little alley, that old bookstore, or that pub that wasn't in any guidebook. If you force yourself to use public transport for short distances, you miss out on the real character of the neighborhoods. London is a city of details, and you only notice those details when you wear down your shoe soles a bit. So wear comfortable shoes, because your feet are going to be your best guides. I'm sure you've seen them, the black cabs or black taxis. They're another symbol of the city, and driving them is an elite profession. Drivers have to memorize thousands of streets to get their license. They're not the cheapest option, that's for sure, but they're extremely comfortable and direct. When should you use them? Mainly when you're loaded down with luggage, or when you're just too tired to go on after a full day out, or if you're traveling at night and want to go straight to your door, accommodation without transfers. You also have the usual private ride apps, which work very well and can give you a fixed price before you get in. Sometimes, if you're a group of 3 or 4 people, the price difference with public transport isn't that big, and you gain a lot in comfort. If you want your trip to London to be a success, and not a physical ordeal, follow this rule. Plan by zones. London is huge, and one of the most common mistakes is going back and forth across the cities several times a day. That only leads to exhaustion and wasted time underground. Ideally, you should pick a main area for the morning, for example, Westminster, and another that's relatively close for the afternoon, like the South Bank. Moving around by zones lets you really get a feel for the neighborhood. You can sit down for a coffee and not feel like you're missing out on something just because you're stuck in a subway car. London is an endless city. In fact, it's much bigger than it looks when you check the tube map. Trying to see all of London in 3 or 4 days is mistake number 1. It's like trying to read an encyclopedia in one afternoon. You'll flip through the pages, but you won't actually take anything in. My advice is to choose wisely. Accept, even before you get on the plane, that you won't be able to fit everything into this trip, and that's okay. When you stop trying to do it all, something magical happens. You actually start to enjoy what's right in front of you. It's much better to explore 3 neighborhoods at a relaxed pace, stopping for a coffee and watching life go by, than to rush through 10 monuments just to snap a photo. The weather in London is basically unpredictable. You might leave your hotel under bright sunshine. Then by mid-morning, you could get caught in a 10-minute downpour, and by the afternoon, it's clear again. This doesn't mean your trip will be a total washout, but you do need to be flexible. Dress in layers, the famous onion style, and always keep something waterproof handy. Don't rely on just one outdoor plan. Always have a backup plan indoors, like a museum or a gallery. And above all, embrace the rain as part of the city's character. London. It has a special charm under the gray sky, and seeing the reflections of the lights on the wet ground. It's one of the most authentic images you'll take with you. In London, you're gonna walk a lot. Between the endless corridors of the tube stations, strolls through the parks, and walks around the neighborhoods, your feet are gonna work harder than they're used to. Wear comfortable shoes that you've already broken in and know won't let you down. Here, style takes a back seat. Comfort. That's what will let you enjoy the 4th or 5th day of your trip. Bad shoes can ruin your experience completely, so don't risk it. One of the biggest mistakes is having a minute-by-minute rigid itinerary. London is a city that rewards you when you allow yourself to stray from the plan. Leave some free time in your schedule. Don't fill every hour with a visit. The city works much better when you let it guide you from time to time. London really rewards those who allow themselves the luxury of changing their minds on the fly. A lot of people feel that if they sit on a bench doing nothing, they're wasting valuable sightseeing time. Quite the opposite. Stopping to rest, having a pint in a pub without checking the time, or simply watching Londoners in a square, that's living the city. Those moments of pause are what help balance out the busy days and process everything you're seeing. Finally, remember that social media shows a very filtered version. Don't compare yourself. It doesn't matter if you don't get the perfect photo without people in it or if you don't visit the trendy spot. Every trip is unique. What matters is that the experience is yours at your own pace and according to your tastes. If one day you decide you don't want to see any more museums and would rather stay at the hotel resting or go to the movies, do it. Your success on the trip isn't measured by how many things you've seen, but by how much fun you've had. London is, ultimately, a city with so many layers. At first, it might seem a bit serious or even cold, but I assure you, as soon as you spend a little time and let yourself get lost in its streets, it becomes addictive like few other places. It's not a city to rush through with a stopwatch in hand, but one to observe with curiosity, to wander aimlessly, and to discover little by little, bite by bite, and neighborhood by neighborhood. If this video has helped you understand a bit better how the British capital works, and has helped you prepare for your next trip with more clarity, I invite you to stick around here at Time to Travel. That's our goal, to keep discovering amazing cities together through guides that are practical, straightforward, and above all, designed so you can truly enjoy your adventure without unnecessary complications. So, if you like to travel this way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, and before you go, leave us a comment. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Enjoy the magic of the Thames, the pubs, and the history. And we'll see you at the next destination.